everyone, and welcome back to The Little Blue Fly. If this is your first time visiting, welcome, and I invite you to subscribe to my channel. It's as simple as tapping that subscribe button, making sure to select all to receive all my future postings after you have tapped the notification bell. So in today's video, it is part 2. So if you have not seen part 1 yet of the staircase makeover, I highly suggest that you go back and watch that one first and then come back to watch this one because I think they're both great actually. But anyhow, that's just me. So I'm going to be decorating the entire entryway here for Christmas, and I'm excited to bring all of you along with me. Now, as you can see, there is this garland sitting right here on my stairs, and this is over 15 years old. So I'm just going to share with you how I am going to bring it back to life a little bit and add in some wonderful whimsy feels into the entryway. So that being said, let's begin, shall we? Okay, so I actually have 2 of these garlands, and I believe I am just going to be working with one of them right here on the staircase. This has been so much fun this Christmas to finally have this all together. So I have it all nicely fluffed up and used my flat iron to fix the wrinkles in the ribbon. And I'm ready to add in this cedar garland that was purchased from one of my favorite places to shop here in Virginia, and that is at the Flower Gallery in Manassas. I cannot recommend this shop enough. Beautiful decor and wonderful, wonderful people that work inside. So as you can see, I added one of the cedar garlands to the left. And I will be weaving it through. And I added in some battery operated string lights that I will be placing in the description. So my description box is going to be filled with quite a few different references of places to go. And I think the 2 work nicely together, and I will be adding in another variety, these right here as well, and they have pine cones on them. Next, I'm going to add in this pinecone garland. This came from my goodies in California, along with the garland, so I haven't seen these for quite a few years, and I believe I did purchase these from Michael's. So it's all about weaving in the different types of pines or pine cones or picks to try to make things look as natural as possible. Now we're going to be adding in a little bit of the whimsy here. It's all about the whimsy feels this year. I love decorating with antique clock faces, and many of them have been purchased through, either on eBay or Etsy. Just put in antique or vintage clock faces. This one right here is my favorite because it actually opens up, but because I'm holding the camera in one hand, I'm unable to open it. And there are a few snowflakes as well. Now I want to point out, since I'm working with clock faces, so I didn't even know, but in the January 2022 issue of Country Sampler, the Little Blue Fly is in there. One of my subscribers reached out to me and told me, Bev, you're in the Country Sampler magazine. Actually, a couple of my subscribers reached out to me. So if you go and get you one, you will see the Little Blue Fly, little old Bev on page 7. And I couldn't be more excited. It is my goal to actually have a full spread, a couple pages in a magazine one day. But this is a wonderfully pleasant beginning. And do you see it? Keep looking right there. There's our Edwin with some of our vintage clock faces and an antique frame and some greenery. And they were nice enough to reference the people to the Little Blue Fly on YouTube. This was super, super special to see. Thank you so much, Country Sampler. Now let's get back to decorating. I'm just going to be adding in the clock faces in different areas within the wreath. And I'm just going to bend some of the pine branches to hold them in place. This one is very old. It's trying its best to stay together. So I handle this one with care for sure. As I stated before, working with clock faces, it's just wonderful, because I just sit there and reflect a little bit and, wonder what homes these clocks were in and what memories they made. They really are special pieces to work within your decorations. And I love this one because it's highly ornate. And then right here, even them being just simple, they're just as wonderful, I suppose. And this little gold tassel, beaded tassel, I love, almost everything that's beaded. I'm sure that goes all the way back to my childhood when I used to, I don't know how many of you used to make them, but I would sit there and make all those different beaded bracelets and rings and wear them all on my wrist and going up my arms. And now we're going to add in some pine cones. I'm placing 2 up at top and at the bottom as well. These were purchased from Hobby Lobby. I believe they come in packs of 3 and they normally go quite quickly. And I didn't want to add too much ribbon because the garland already had some. So I just made a couple black satin sashes. Just a simple little sash, and the ribbon was purchased from Hobby Lobby. Nothing like giving something that little pop of black, right? So I'm just going to add my 2 lamps up on top of my buffet. I will still be working inside the garland, but I wanted to place the lamps back up. The lamp bases were purchased from Kirkland's many years ago, and as I stated, I made the lampshades myself many years ago. And the buffet came from Butler Furniture, But I purchased this one on, it was Craigslist. Yes, there was not Facebook Marketplace yet. But the piece is by Butler. And in between the lamps, I decided to go with this fabulous vintage wire French country basket. This was purchased from a shop in California. And I'm going to, well, I added in another cedar garland purchased from the Flower Gallery. Love you guys so much. And I kept an extra piece available to weave throughout whatever it is I'm gonna decide to put in here. I just wanted to give you a little close-up of how I weaved it through the basket, and I placed in a riser in the center. I just love the red glow of the lamps. And here, now we're gonna switch. I'm jumping all over the place, okay? Here is a small tree that has twinkling lights. It was already pre-lit. I purchased this from Lowe's, again, a few years ago. So this is my California items. But I'm going to be adding in some of these pine branches that I purchased from Hobby Lobby. It's just going to fill things in a bit and offer in some more color and fullness. And some stems are longer than others, so I'll be placing the longer ones in, and you make sure that, you pull them apart and you just place it right on top of the pine branch. It's just that simple. And you just keep placing them in until you have reached your desired fullness. Now I'm going to keep placing these around, and then we'll come back when I have finished. Okay, I believe it is all to my liking now. And as you can see, what a difference. It's like, wow. I like the colors at the tips. Just offers great interest when you get to mixing different pines together. And faux is just as beautiful as the real dried. I love working with both of them. Now I will be adding in this holly garland. This was purchased last year from Wayfair, and I told myself I was going to purchase a couple more, and I just didn't get around to doing it, but these are at Wayfair. And I just started up at the top. I placed in my little stained glass star up at top, and I just wrapped it around the tree going all the way down to the bottom. And what a difference this simple berry garland has made already to this tree. I almost don't want to put anything on it. I just love the way it is right here. But yes, let's start bringing in some of the candied fruit. These picks were purchased many years ago, and I don't remember if it was Hobby Lobby or Michael's, but I'm leaning more towards Hobby Lobby. And I'm just going to be adding in a few. Just gives that perfect little festive, Christmas festive touch. Bring in the old world, the fruits. Now these next these right here, they're fabulous. That's all I can say. These are fabulous. They're very old, and I purchased these from an older woman, when I was living in California many years ago. And these elves just have fabulous, fabulous detail. And she said she used them for many years in her decorating, and she just didn't want to fuss with it anymore. And she said it was time for them to move on into someone else's hands. And they were mine. Yay! Anyhow, there are, I believe, 5 of them. Here is the painting elf. I love his little bald head. His little shiny bald head. And I picked all of these up at her sale for $5. And I've tried looking for these to see if I could find more. And I cannot find these elves anywhere. So I treasure these little guys. Here's a worker elf. Just look at their noses and eyes and eyebrows and beards. They're just so detailed. Here's Santa Elf. Elves have a way of making things magical for sure. And I love this next one. The baking elf. Now he also has a rolling pin as well. He has on his baker's apron and he's ready to go. Now I'm going to share something with you about elves. My elves love to see themselves in mirrors. So when I place them on my tree, I must make sure that they can see themselves within the mirror. And I think Santa Elf is very pleased. I think they want to make sure their noses and cheeks are still cherry red. So I just placed many mirrors and elves all around the tree. The mirrors were purchased from a store called Beverly Fabrics in California, and sadly, they have been one of those storefronts to close. Now for some more vintage treasures. We have wooden rocking horses and little cottage homes. I love decorating with all of these older wooden ornaments. We have some sleds and drums. And each one has their own unique look. And some soldiers. Some tin soldiers, but in this case, wooden. And I just placed them all about on the tree. And next it's time for bells. Sparkly, shiny bells. These were purchased many years ago from one of my decorating shops in California. And elves love bells because they let them know it's time to take that break. Now these bells are special. They have a special meaning because they came from my mama. And every year, it's just tradition. And Mom's tradition was to bring her special golden basket to the house, and these bells would be on there, and the basket would be filled with goodies, and she always had a box of tissues in there. And now I'm sure I'm gonna do the same thing with my daughters. So I place the bells up on the tree, and they always make sure to ring during lunchtime to let the elves know it's time to take a break and have a bite to eat. Now I'm going to work down at the bottom. Now after their long day of working, the elves get to go home to their cozy thatchet-roofed cottage, tucked right away in the woods. And this piece was purchased from Wegmans. And I just placed some pine all around and under the tree. Now this oval mirror right here, bird mirror, I believe I purchased this. I'm gonna look because I'm gonna put a reference in there of where it can be purchased in my description box. But I believe it was Uttermost, and then this two-tiered tray table was a Facebook Marketplace find. First things first, let's get a lamp up on top, and this lamp came from Horchow, and they still carry this lamp, and it's on sale right now. The inside of the shade is gold. It's a very heavy piece and very tall. Love the black shades. Can't get enough of black shades and lamps. Now we're going to make just a sweet little basket arrangement, and it is going to be pretty simple because I've been working on a lot of different things so far in the entryway. And the basket came from Merrifield Gardens, and it's located here in Virginia. And then I'm just going to place in this stubborn berry garland. I'm trying to get it inside of the basket, and it just didn't want to work all that well, so I actually ended up separating the branch at the bottom so I could fit it in. Something so simple and delicate, boy, it just didn't want to work. Just gonna pull out some because, again, the name of the game is to get things weaving through one another to give that natural look. And I'm going to use some of these wonderful faux boxwood stems that were purchased again from Merrifield Gardens. And again, they are faux, and I love working with the both, faux and dried. Now I know some individuals, they come along and they get to really putting down the faux, and I'm sorry, I have the love for both of them. If it feels right and looks right, it's coming home with me, plain and simple. And it's easier to store faux greenery, and easier to clean, for sure. Just a little soap and water. You can't do that with the dried, but the dried is very natural and very beautiful. I'm gonna bend the stem a little bit, and then I'll just weave the berries through the greenery. And then we have our simple, sweet berry basket. Next, I have this. This was actually a dollar find at a thrift shop recently. That's a sticker from, who knows, maybe how much it cost way back when. I'm not sure. But this is a very old piece, and I'm just going to place in some of these. They're slender. I like the look of these battery operated candles, and I purchased these at Wegmans grocery store, and there was supposed to be a remote control inside them, and it wasn't in there. And I was like, oh, well, okay, that's not okay. So I'm going to see if I can find another, because they were low in stock, and just get the remote from the other one. And I'm going to place in some moss. Thank goodness I found this, because I didn't want to use the other type of moss. I wanted this type. I'm sorry. So these come in large sheets, and I'm just going to break them and place them all around. I mean, I know I have more, but where, I just couldn't even tell you right now. I'm sure it's hidden under 10 boxes somewhere. And just keep placing them all around. And this moss right here is fabulous to work with. I love this variety, and I need to go and purchase some more. Moss and candles is just a beautiful thing, don't you think? Heck, moss and anything is a beautiful thing to me. I can never get enough of it. But during Christmas time, I love working with it. But then again, I love working with it every holiday. So anyhow, enough said. Just have a few more pieces, and then I'm going to add in one other thing just to bring in a little bit of the old world and just give the arrangement just a pop. And that's right, dried oranges. And I put them, it's a chilly day, so I'm wearing sweats, so both of my pockets are filled with dried oranges. Anyhow, I know I've been saying I'm going to share with you how I dry my oranges, and I'm so sorry I have not got around to sharing that with you all. The staircase took up quite a bit of time, but now we have... Oh, did you see that one? It didn't want to go in the arrangement. Anyways, I'm going to add a little bit down on the bottom tray, just something sweet and simple, and we're going to go into a closer look.
Ah!